I've got a fever, and the only cure for my fever is more Spal fans. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Burndown YouTube channel. So today, you guessed it, I am in Spal fan heaven. I've got a fever for these brushless Spal fans. Bam, there you go. And I one-upped myself. I got this one for 50 bucks. And we found out, my buddy Joe and I went this morning. I forgot my freaking camera, unfortunately. So Joe and I went and we copped this thing. But this is actually a water pump, dude. So this is the water pump, and then the coolant tank sits right here, and this circulates the stuff, which is rad. And we left it on there as part of the radiator, and the guy was like, cool, radiator, here you go. So this would be bitching for like a water to air, or it's small enough. It looks like it's the right size line that you could put this on the in and out on like the heater for like a race car, like where the heater hoses go, and literally like circulate. I don't know, you'd probably have to figure out how to bypass the thermostat, but you could essentially set this up that you could run it in the pits and circulate with the motor off. You know, something like that could be rad. But it's like a 5-pin deal, so it may even be like variable speed and all that fun stuff. So I know nothing about this other than it was there, and I was like, yeah, we'll just throw it on there and see if the dude lets us pass. So he did. We got these guys, and I am stoked. And then the other thing I was really excited about was I went back and forth with Hap a little bit, because as soon as he saw these, he was like, oh man, we were going over sizes because he wanted to see if the duals would fit. And then he went with the single 14, which is magical. That thing fits his rad. And then I'm kind of like, man, you know, it was a lot of work to do what I did. So I think the 14 would have been killer for my application. But because I got the 12s and I kind of measured it and I had the measurements sent to Happel, I started getting all froggy and curious. And then, of course, climbed under the Bago, and I'm like, man, you know, I'd like to put some fans on it at a certain point, you know, the brushless ones. Well, it turns out they're like the 12-inch are the perfect size for the rad core that's in the Bago, other than I have no idea, again, how we're going to mount it. So that's kind of what we're doing today. But I went online, I'm like, oh, I got to find these. And then they had them at a local spot. And then I looked them up at Pick Apart. It was 50 bucks. And I was like, I can't pass that up. But the guy was nice. And I will tell you, if you do go to your local yard, they count it as 2 fans. So we have a buddy over there. Actually, Joe knows everybody, I'll be honest with you. I don't have any friends. Everybody's friends with Joe. And he's like, hey, Joe, he knows the counter guy. And so the counter guy was awesome enough to count it as a fan, right? It's 1 fan. That's what I told him. I said, it's all in the same shroud, right? So anyway, we got a smoking deal. So it would be about 100 for that. And I saw in Sloppy Public that some dude, they were trying to charge him a premium motor charge. So I asked the guy at the window too. So the motors went up to about 500. He said for a motor at like LKQ Pick Apart. But he said if you took off like the AC condenser or the AC pump, and then there's a couple other things, you could basically take it off and get the motor for kind of the same price as before. It's like 400 bucks out the door, whatever, 400 and some change. So it's not like 1,000 or 1,500 or what some guy was saying. Maybe they were trying to rob him. They saw him coming. I don't know, but yeah. So I was like, man, if the prices of those things have skyrocketed by now, I mean, maybe they will, but who knows? So at this point, it's still kind of in the ballpark if you wanted to go get an LS out of your local pick and pull. And honestly, if it were me and you were gonna do it, I would just go and strip all the stuff off of it, unless you really need all the accessories and stuff, and I would just do that, but I don't know. Anyway, so I've got the GMC pulled out, so we'll put this thing back in, and then we'll put the Bago back in its spot, and we'll start crawling around. I want to see if I could just take the radiator shroud out with the fans, because it's a Champion Cooling Systems, of course, you know, in the Bago, and we're gonna see if we can take that out and then see what kind of room we're working with. And I eyeballed it and measured it. I think we're good, but I have no idea how I'm gonna mount it. So, and then I don't really want to take the radiator out, because Joe was like, oh, take it out, and then you can just weld some little studs. Like, I know that I could make a really nice way to fit it, but my buddy Reed moved, and he was my like aluminum go-to welding guy. And then by the time I take the rad out and do all that, I'm like, you know what, if I could just finagle it in there, get it to stick on the radiator somehow, that's how we roll, and that's how we go. So let's get to it. Enough blabbing. Let's do a vehicle shuffleboard or whatever we called. What is that? What's that game where Duck Duck Goose? Where you run around? Musical chairs. That's what we're doing. So vehicle musical chairs, and then we'll go get some measurements. Winnebago over here. So the radiator on this guy, you know, it's from there to there. It literally is an inch wider and then a couple inches taller than the fan system setup that we have. The only real issue is, shoot, hopefully this thing's not too hot. We're gonna let it cool down a little bit. Is the, I don't even think you can see it in there. I don't want to burn myself, but there's the nipple for the water pump. It protrudes a bit. Let's see if things fit first. So I'll start taking off all the stuff so we can hopefully pull this thing down, and then like these aren't used or nothing. So let's get all the stuff out of the way and see if we can, I don't know if I'll be able to exit because I got the freaking things here. So I don't know. We'll eyeball it, see how we go. I don't really want to have to take a bunch of stuff off of this thing right now, but let me get some measurements, see how we go, see if we can finagle it. So the bottom's looking like a difficult sell. So let's take the cover off. And we'll, oh geez, all that work wasted. We'll take the cover off and see if we can get to it maybe from the top. Maybe we can do the old up from the top. Let's unbuckle this thing. See how she looks. I get something to cover this thing too at some point. This thing like some buzz or something. Some rad, but I really don't dirty from handling it all the time. Checking fluids and stuff. Okay, so yeah, I got a pretty straight shot. Here, there, yeah, and then I get the other one from underneath, and then if I just have to move this, so we can take this off fairly simple, bam bam. I'll still have to do the coolant, which I didn't really want to, but price you gotta pay, right? So it would be smart to get anything underneath. So I'll get that guy in the corner down there, and then we'll take this, so that way when I leak coolant everywhere, I don't have to go roll around in it. So let's remove some of this stuff and then see if we can get it out. But yeah, you can get a better idea of the size back here. And then the reason I'm trying to take the shroud out is because if I can get the shroud out, we can get it to stick on the shroud. You know, that'll give us the dimension and how we're going to mount it, because like I said, at this point I have no idea how we're going to get that thing kind of mounted. So if we can put that on the bench and look at it, at least we can do that outside the vehicle and go from there, and hopefully it's something we can kind of get done and finagle it, and I don't have to like take more stuff out. We got that off. Working on taking these guys loose. We're gonna crawl underneath. But for those of you guys that are not familiar with the Twinnebago build, or my boys over at War Performance, you need to go hit them up. They have throttle bodies. They've got problem solving goodies. They're responsible for this intake manifold, and they're responsible for this throttle body. So big shout out and thank you to War. Go check them out. They are working class dudes. They could use the business. They're busy. They're awesome. They go to race week events, all that stuff, and they help me, and I appreciate them to no end. Even this little dude here, they gave me this. This is a little problem solver, so I can do fuel pressure right here at the rail. Bada boom, bada bing. Extensions for some of your like map and cam sensor and all that stuff. They have all that if you need the adapters or you need the pigtails for your different set of injectors. Go see them, go talk to them, hit them up on the web, hit them up on Instagram. Great group of guys. So let's continue. What the heck, dude? Look at that guy. Dude, that thing, like, I heard it buzzing. I was like, oh man, it's one of those Chinese beetles or something. I don't know what that thing was. It came in here to kill me, but I pulled a sneaky and I got that one out from up here. So I got one more to do. I better shut that door, man. Attack of the freaking Galapagos insects over here. All right, let's keep rolling. Whew, I heard that thing buzzing, but I was like, eh, it's probably just like a little bee. And I turn around, boom, here's a dinosaur flying around in the Bago. All right, game on. Before we pull it all the way out, that's the dude I was talking about. So from up here, it looks like we got a bit more room than I thought, but it's still, that's gonna be the deciding factor. And then, yeah, running it and hitting it with the grinder Doesn't sound like a great idea, but I don't know. Let's see how far we get. You don't even have coolant in this big dog. I guess we put some coolant in it considering it's not a race car. So, got this loose. Maybe we'll take it loose here too so I can get it out of the way. And that is it. We will see if we can finagle it past all this good stuff. I'm thinking one of those deals. Let's struggle. Let's time lapse the struggle, because I think if I filmed it in real time it might take too long. So set you boys over here. All right, well, good news is these actually came out. Bad news is this is way thinner. These barely came out. No way in hell that that Spal, because that Spal is way thicker than this, is gonna go back in. So we can kind of get measurements though and at least look at stuff, because now that I have this out, I can use this as my reference. So we will just kind of see, like I said, how we go. I'll use this as reference. Let's kind of get a measurement and kind of eyeball stuff and see what it looks like. And then I think to put the Spals in, maybe there's mounts on the top. So I'm hoping maybe we can take those loose and take that panel out and maybe go with this dog, and then I don't know, it's gonna be a fat chance that stuff fits. Woo! All right, let's see what we're working with. Let me get all this stuff. We got like a lot of the harness too. Joe is like the master wire guy, so he's like, you want options, so we got all this. So let me take this off, get the pump out of the way. But you can already see, I mean, just by looking at it, look at that, dude. And then we'll kind of line her up. Whoop, whoop. Except, like I said, the thickness, you can see that we don't, it's got, you know, more thickness to it. So let me clean some of the stuff up, we'll bring it back, and we'll see how we go. So we cleaned off the junk, and then you can see I kind of got it, you know, eyeballed, lined up. And this is actually a little smidge longer than this. But the mounting holes are really kind of what I'm after. So obviously we have it fudged that way. But if we take a look in here, let me bring my tape. It looks like the nut certs are way to the outside on this dog here. So we pull a measurement across there, and I may be able to just sink my own nut certs, huh? Sink my own nut certs and nail it. So let me fudge with this thing a bit, and then I will bring you back. But yeah, this bracket is, it's, I don't know, man. I think this thing is gonna fit. If it fits, it's gonna be snug, and it's gonna be like it meant to be there. And then if it doesn't fit, we're just gonna make it. So those are my options. All right, the doctor's gonna have to get his tools out, but literally the outside edge of this, where this would like bolt through to bolt this down, is just on the inside of this, which means, you know, from the back side I could put a bolt through here and it would theoretically thread into the existing. So all the way around, when I line everything up perfectly, it just catches the edge, which means it's inside, which is where I need it. So if you flipped it around, see how, you know, we want to be on that side of this. So literally, I mean, it is like just barely, but it should be perfect with the mounting position that's in there. I just got to get my holes obviously square. So these holes could not have been more perfect. You can see the room we're working with. I mean, it is literally right on the corner. But the cool part is it's a lot thinner here. They had those big old chunky dudes here. That was what held this in place with all the ribbing and stuff. So to get the bolt right here in a radius like that, when you clamp it down, this will give it a bit of strength. And then we'll just put a washer here, here. And then these guys were in the ribbing, like I said, it was all ugly. So we knocked, oh, excuse me, so we knocked that out there. Knocked, jeez, knocked this guy out here. And I've got, if you're wondering how I did it, I got a little carbide bit. So you just, I drilled the holes from the back side first, and then we just did a little carve. and then I flattened it out here because it's stuck up. So obviously, you know, you don't want to try to tighten down on this. It'll fold over or break and things gonna be all loose. So you want to get a nice contact patch. So we will go here. So next thing on the agenda is the measurement. So I believe it's 1/2 inch. I'll get a good measurement. So this folds over like half, right? And goes in, boop. So this guy actually needs to be gone. So we got to shave 1/2 inch off the side, and then anything underneath it's protruding, like all those dogs and whatever, all that fun stuff, and then like the center. So I'm gonna keep shaving, you know, molten plastic in the afternoon. What more could you ask for? Figured I'd share this trick with you guys. So this is the depth that I need, right? So you put that on there, bam. So that's a little past, but we can always shave it down. And then I have it on the money here. So maybe we'll just move this tape line here, because it literally comes to this point. So it's like the same thickness. So we'll put it to there, but this will give me a straight edge to cut against. So what we'll do is we need that to look like this, right? So we need the U section flat on the sides with a little lip here, because there's a lip in the Bago that will take this up that this bolts to, so because it sticks out. Ta-da! All right, so now you can see we have the notch cut out. So it's flat and then it goes up, and then we got our 1/2 inch. Our cut's pretty good. I got a little froggy on the other side. Got a little grass over here in the corner, but yeah, I think we're pretty good. And again, we're trying to mimic that. So we got the holes, we got that. All that's left is to try to shoehorn it back in there. But the sun is going down, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to struggle off camera and then see how we get this thing to fit, or whatever, how we go. So I think for the most part, you guys saw the other fitment of the other Spal fans. You got an idea of how I actually did these ones. And then what we'll do is we'll just, you know, once we get it kind of figured out and hammered in there, I'll bring you guys back maybe later in the week or whatever. We can show you and give you a peek in there that they're actually on board inside the Bago. So hopefully that would be the next Bago video. But I don't want to keep beating you guys up with Spal fan videos, but I am super excited about these. And I just might have to keep going to the junkyard and just keep buying these things and just stack them up so I can just cool everything with them. That is it. You guys, thank you very much for watching, being a part of the channel, being a part of the journey. We got to get this dog to Vegas LS Fest West this year, 2022. It's going to be the year of the Bago, the boom, and some good times. I will catch you and see you there. You guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out.